Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Muy buenos días, tardes o noches, dependiendo de a qué hora estén viendo este video. Mi nombre es Miguel Ángel Cés, ex Formación de Escopeta, y tenemos una entrevista. Ya ven que de repente me gusta platicar con algunas personas relacionadas con la NFL, y en esta ocasión es una invitada bastante interesante, porque es la ganadora de la nominación a Fan del Año por los Miami Dolphins, y está en contienda para ser Fan del Año de la NFL. Ahora les voy a platicar un poquito más, no quiero extenderme mucho en mi presentación. Mejor vamos a recibir a Alison, también conocida como Dolphreaky. Alison, hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Well, I was explaining to the audience that you are the Miami Dolphins Fan of the Year for 2022 and a
Yes.
candidate for the NFL's Fan of the Year award. Is that right?
Yes, it's very exciting. It's just a huge honor. It's basically the highest honor you can get as a fan. So I'm very happy to represent my team.
That's absolutely like the biggest award for the fans. Like your
Yeah.
team already recognizes you as the Fan of the Year,
Mhm.
and you can be the NFL's Fan of the Year.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I want to go like step by step. Like, how did you start with the Miami Dolphins fandom?
Yeah, so I as a kid I was growing up in Pennsylvania, and so it was kind of fun to be a fan of a team, that's not local. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's my dad's fault that I'm a Dolphin fan. He was a big Dolphin fan growing up, and so in my household, you had no option. It was just Dolphins or bust. And so after some coaxing, I finally started to, sit down and watch the game with him. And he was kind of like, teaching me everything. He helped me like develop the passion that I have for it now. And he started bringing us to Miami once a year for a game. And it was just really like the highlight of my childhood was going to the games in Miami. And I just loved the culture. I loved the team. I started to learn everything about football. And I would say during my college years, it was when I really became obsessed, like obsessed with all things football. And I don't know if it was a diversion to not have to study at the time or what it was, but I just wanted to I wanted to watch every game. I wanted to watch, obviously every Dolphin game. I wanted to know every tidbit of news. And I just started to kind of get more involved in the community and the fans. And then I was in a contest with DirecTV. So it was the NFL Displaced Fan Contest, the Ultimate Displaced Fan Contest. And so it was just for people who were representing their team in a state other than where the team is. And so I was a runner up for that contest. And then I kind of developed a social media following, and it
Mm-hmm.
took off from there. I just wanted to be more connected to the fans.
Wow. So basically, you grew up like in a state where the Steelers and the Eagles are like
Yes.
these big teams, and you were a Dolphins fan.
Yeah. I was
How
like the
difficult?
only Dolphin fan that I knew either. Like, like in school, I might have known one or two other Dolphin fans, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody else was straight Eagles, Steelers. We had some Jets, Giants, just that like tri-state area, all those
Mm-hmm.
teams that are congregated up there. I was outnumbered.
Well, let me tell you, that happens a lot to like Mexican fans and Latin fans because imagine we live in a country where the NFL is actually not part of the country.
Yeah.
We don't have it. And sometimes we have people that are like Dolphins fans or Bills fans or I don't know, Cowboys. Well, Cowboys, we have a lot of fans here in Mexico. But in my case, for example, I like Washington. So you always feel like the only person in the world who roots for the team outside of the stadium.
Right.
It gets crazy, right?
Yeah, it does.
And well, then you moved to Florida.
Yes. So after I finished pharmacy school, I moved to Florida, and it was always my goal, to do so. One, because of the weather, but two, because I wanted to have Dolphins season tickets, and I just wanted
Okay.
to be at every game. And I felt like, as a fan, like I couldn't give as much to the team if I was far away. Like I needed to be there in the seats. And so then I dragged my poor husband down. He didn't want to come, but I was like, this is important. Like we need to do this. And so we became season ticket holders. We are members of the deep end, which is kind of like, it's a seating section in the stadium where like the diehards kind of sit, the ones who really dress up and like are kind of, running fan clubs and doing charity and all that stuff. So we were welcomed into that community, which was amazing. And we're part of the East 12 tailgate, which is like, if you come to Miami, you need to come to the East 12 tailgate because that's where it's at. You'll meet so many people. It's such a welcoming community. Like new people who come through will instantly make friends. So we do a lot with the tailgate and with the deep end.
Wow. So you are really, really into the Miami Dolphins, like tailgating experience, the stadium
Yes.
experience.
Hmm.
And well, I have to ask, what team does your husband root for?
So it's funny because his parents are actually Raiders fans.
Oh,
But growing up, he was never a football fan at all. So he was a blank slate. So he was completely moldable. So he's a Dolphin fan. He has no choice.
like,
But in all truth, he doesn't follow football like I do. He's starting to get into it, just because he's surrounded by it with me. He's surrounded by it all the time. So, he's picking it up, but he really a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, like your husband made you a fan." And I'm like, "No, I made him a fan."
and that's something also very interesting because most of the time people tend to believe that women become fans
Yep.
because of their boyfriends or their
Mhm.
husbands and
Yep.
or because of their dads, and it's like, no,
Mhm.
I became a fan by myself, and then my
Yeah.
husband became a fan because of me.
Yeah, and I definitely give my father, credit where credit's due because I am a fan because of him. But it's funny because I'll walk around the stadium with my husband and people will be like, punching him on the shoulder, like, "Oh, you taught her right," and I'm just over here like, ah,
Like the
okay,
other
thanks.
way around.
Yeah. So it's fun to be a female fan too, and you get a lot of hate and a lot of like, oh, girls can't know football, they couldn't possibly understand the game, and it's just funny because like most of my really really good Dolphins friends are females and they know the game in and out and they're so smart, and it's just a lot of them are doing podcasting and just getting
Mhm.
themselves out there, and I love that for the female fans.
That's another very interesting thing because again, this is like a little like old idea that people have, like only guys enjoy football, only guys understand the game,
Yeah.
and girls just watch it because the players are handsome.
Right. Yeah.
We have that a lot in Mexico. Honestly, there are several projects developed by women here in Mexico to talk about the NFL. For example, we have the football girls. There are
Yes,
a group of girls. Maybe you know Ilse.
I do. She's one of my good friends. And actually, when I said like we have girls podcasting, I literally was thinking about her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, a great NFL fan, and
Yes.
some of them like have they always have to face that, like,
Yeah.
oh, you pretend to be an NFL fan.
Yeah.
You don't really like it. You're just trying to like get
Yeah.
the boys' attention.
You
Like,
just want attention. You just want to dress up and blah, blah, blah. It's so much more than that. So much more.
absolutely. And well, actually, when you talk about dress up, I have a couple of pictures that I want to show my audience, just to show you, like, to show them like the experience of you going to the games. I took them
Yes.
from your social media. Hope it
Sure.
doesn't
I don't
matter.
mind. No.
Like, look at you. Like, those are wigs. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. So you have like the wigs and the shirts and the hats and everything in order, right?
Yeah, I have lots of wigs and I like to keep it interesting, so I tend to switch it up. Sometimes I'm feeling the short wig, sometimes I wear braids. You could see in my closet here, like I have like 10 different wigs, and it's part of the fan experience. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times when fans come to meet me, like part of the thing is like, "Oh, what's Dolphreaky wearing today?" It's part of the fun. And then I cater the outfits towards whatever's happening at the time too. Like if it's salute to service week, I'll wear more military. We all kind of just cater the outfits towards the occasion, and that keeps it interesting for me too. I never want to wear the same thing. Like I pretty much never wear the same thing. I combine it with different hair, different helmets. I know you can't see my helmets, and but they're just above here, and that kind of came about as part of the Dolphins being in a rebuilding process,
Mm-hmm.
basically completely dismantling the team and building from the ground up with new quarterback and all these things. And so part of my like little play is that I am a kind of a construction worker essentially, in the process of the Dolphins rebuilding.
Love that. Love the idea. And also because they changed the logo, they went from the old dolphin to the new dolphin.
Yes.
Gotta ask, which one do you prefer?
So I actually like the one that was before this one, and I don't hate any of the logos. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, like I have the old logo on my arm and I have the new logo on my back.
Okay.
But the logo that made me a fan was that 2000, like 1999, 2000 logo. A lot of people kind of are also like in the same, predicament that like that was the logo at the time when they
Hmm.
grow up. So that's the one that's really special to me. And I don't have it tattooed yet, but maybe sometime soon.
There's always the chance.
Yeah.
There's always a chance. Okay, and well, so you mentioned that all the things that you wear, like the wigs and the helmet. So this is basically like a character, right? The
Yeah.
Dolphreaky.
Dolphreaky is a character and she's evolved a lot over the years.
That's amazing. And you were mentioning that you went to pharmacy school. You're a pharmacist, is that right? I
Yes,
read
I'm a
that.
pharmacist. Yeah, in retail pharmacy.
Wow. So what do the people at your job tell you about the character? Do they know about it? Like they know that you're this super fan of the NFL?
They know. It's funny because a lot of like my coworkers are excited about this, and a lot of the like. So I work for Walgreens, so like all of our stores are very close knit, and we all know each other. And so
Hmm.
half the time I'll call a pharmacy, and they'll be like, "Oh, Dolphreaky," they all follow on social media. They know the whole thing, so it's funny. And even some of the customers actually know too. And occasionally I will get recognized at work, and so sometimes that's a little awkward, and like people recognize me like without my hair on, and I'm like, okay, now like it's getting weird. But yeah, for the most part, like I try to keep Dolphreaky and Alison Goodman separate during the workday.
But I imagine that it gets weird now when someone comes to the store and say, "Oh, you are the girl from the Miami Dolphins games, like the Dolphreaky," and oh,
Yeah, and
like
it happens a lot. It happens not just at work. Like sometimes I'll be in the store. I mean, it happens at the games all the time. Like that's whatever. But when it happens outside outside of dolphin stuff, then I'm like spooked almost.
but well, it's part of the social media, as you mentioned. People get
Yes.
to know you, like, and they see,
Yeah.
oh, that's the girl who I see in social media, and that goes to the Dolphins games, and now
Yeah.
you're the fan of the year.
Yeah.
That definitely changed things, right?
It did. Yeah. And like my popularity was kind of building before that, but when like the official announcement came out, yeah, it got a lot more.
Well, I was reading the NFL page about the fans of the year,
Mhm.
and it mentions that over 700 people nominated you to be the fan of the year. So it was not like somebody like randomly chose you. A
No,
lot of
it's
people mentioned you.
crazy. Yeah, a lot of 700 people took the time. And you know what? It's crazy to me because like I don't fully realize, I guess sometimes like the impact that I have, but people tell me and I like you still don't fully like grasp it when you see a number like 700, you're like, wow,
Mhm.
like people took the time to fill out the form, and you know what, the form wasn't even short. Like you had to write like paragraphs about me, and I'm just so thankful that people took the time to do that and felt that I was worthy for this. So it's amazing.
I mean, that tells you something about what you have done as a fan and this presence that you already have with the Miami Dolphins fans, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
That's amazing. And also, I was reading that you have your own nonprofit that you
Yes, I
started.
do.
So I
Yeah,
would love to talk about that.
it's new. So I just started it this year in the off season. It's called Dolphreaky's Friends Incorporated, and basically, I'm kind of like a community service organization. And so a couple of the things that we've done already this year was a great amount of it kind of revolves around the tailgate because that's the time when we really get to connect with the fans. So we've done food drives, clothing drives for the hurricane victims, and we've done all different kinds of fundraisers. And I want to get more and more into it. I had all kinds of plans to do this year, but then with the fan of the year thing and everything, it just like a lot of that, like I just don't have the time. Like I really am just like so busy and trying to manage everything. But in the off season, I still want to keep everything going. And people have been so generous, and I've had fan clubs, using my charity as a vessel to do good too. And it's just it's just a means for our fans to do some good in the community. And I kind of wanted to start it because I saw other fans, from other fan bases were doing it. And it just feels good to like give back to the community in some way. And it doesn't take a lot of money to do it. A lot of times it's just volunteers or, somebody
Hmm.
bringing a canned good to the tailgate. It's like really basic things that we can do. But when we all get together and do it, it can be much bigger.
That's awesome. And that's something that we always talk about when we talk about the NFL. Uh, us, the content creators, like we try to show the world that the NFL is more than the guy that does something bad, like because they
Yeah.
always get the news. Like
Yeah.
the spotlight is always on the player who does something wrong, who ends up in trouble, and
Mm-hmm.
the commissioner has always said, for every case of that, we have like 70 cases of guys doing good things.
Yeah,
For
like the Walter Payton Man of the Year, like this is an ongoing contest too. And
Mhm,
it, for our representative is Jalen Phillips. So, it's awesome to see. And a lot of these players, and I see it personally, they all have their foundations and they are doing
mhm,
charity work and they're out there, working with kids in the hospital. Just last week, me and some of the deep end guys, Stripe, Chucky, Mirta and Alex, we went to the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, and we delivered the toys that we collected at the toy drive at the tailgate. And they were like, "Oh yeah, Andrew Van Ginkel was just in here and doing arts and crafts with the kids." And I'm like, "Yes, like our Dolphin players are like physically out here in the community
mhm.
making a difference too."
And that's amazing because again, you as a fan see the players doing it, and you say, "Well, I can do it as well."
Yeah, why
Like,
not? I mean,
like,
sometimes it takes a little bit of a social media following, and so when I got this
mhm,
following, I'm like, okay, it's fun to be a fan and like show off your outfits and like post cute pictures and post what you're doing for the games and stuff, but like I could definitely leverage this a lot better and make something good out of it. So it's been great so far.
that's awesome because again, I have a podcast that goes on the NFL's Spanish channel,
Mhm.
and we talk about those stories. And for example, we always talk about the Bills Mafia.
Yes, yes.
These guys that are always they only need one reason, like small reason, to start giving
Yeah.
money away, and
Yeah.
we love that about the Bills Mafia. I know that maybe the Bills are not exactly on your on your good spirits, but
That's the thing. Like, as much as I hate the Bills and I hate, that they won the division and everything, I hate that. But at the same time, I know they're fans and I see what they're doing. And when Tua got hurt, they were supporting Tua's foundation, and we try to return the favor for their fans. And what I really like about Bills Mafia is it's not just like one small bit of their fan base; it's their whole fan base. Like the whole
absolutely.
fan base is Bills Mafia, and they have a bad reputation, for the things they do at the tailgate, jumping on tables, whatever. But at the same time, like I see a lot of it on social media, a lot of their fundraising. The Bills Mafia babes are so great. Actually, they reached out to me the other day because I guess there was a Dolphin fan, a young girl at the game, and it was the game where they were throwing snowballs and everything, and they said that the Dolphin girl had been hit multiple times with snowballs by the Bills fans, and they wanted to find a way to apologize to her. And so they asked me, how do you think we can apologize for to this Dolphins fan? Because we don't want her to think that all Bills fans are this way. And so I talked to them and I'm like, well, maybe just, write her a letter, apology letter, and just send her some swag. And so I think that's what they ultimately agreed to do. But it made an impact on me, the fact that they would even want to go that far as to apologize to an opposing fan. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely, because again, there are other teams, other stadiums where those things happen, and you never see someone like worrying about, like,
No.
oh, like, okay, well, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
Eh,
You came into
like,
our territory, that's what you get. No, and like it doesn't have to be that way. Like we are NFL family. Yeah, we all
mhm.
share the common interest of football and we love the game and we love going to the games and like repping our teams, and it doesn't have to get to violence, especially against children. Like are you kidding me? Like that's not what NFL fans should be about.
Absolutely, I love the idea, and that's what we try to like show the world. Like, NFL is more than just a game; it's like a family, and
Yes.
people are doing good things for other people. It doesn't matter if they are opposing teams or they are players or fans. We're trying to do our part. That's awesome. And well, I want to talk about a little bit about football and you as a fan.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, who was your favorite player growing up?
So growing up, my favorite player was always Jason Taylor. And like we talked about how like girls are just in
Mhm.
it for like guys that are handsome and everything. Like for me, when I was a teenager growing up, like he was it. Like he was my teenage dream. But also like it was the energy that he brought to the field and the defense and the way he pumped up the crowd and just he made big plays. And it was like one of those things where he was just like the it man of the time, and Ricky Williams, like the two of them. And, there were so many influential players at the time when I was first learning the game. And so it was very easy to fall in love with them. But Jason Taylor is like still one of my favorite people. Like just, I follow his social media and his life and everything. And like, he has a foundation too. And I've, taken a lot from that as well. So he's just, influential even off the field.
That's awesome. And from the current roster, who are your top three players right now? The ones that say, "Oh, I love them."
Yeah.
The
So
most.
Tyreek Hill is my ultimate right now, and he's always been one of my favorite players. And you don't often like say, "Oh, I have a favorite player who's not a Dolphin," but like for me, like it was Tyreek Hill. It was like I was loving the Chiefs of like the last couple years, like Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek. And when Tyreek came to the Dolphins, oh my God, like I was just over the moon. And I just knew I was like, okay, this season could be different for us just on the addition of him. And then also Jalen Waddle, just total standout. Like what a great draft pick he was for us. And, I didn't initially want them to draft him actually, but then when they did, and he started to have this chemistry with Tua. And so then there's Tua, my next one. It's like the chemistry was so immediate with them, and they were so explosive in the beginning of the season. And I know it's kind of fallen apart, it's a little rough right now. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to continue to be positive because we're still in it. But, with those three guys, like if we didn't have them this season, like operating the way that they were, we wouldn't even be in playoff contention at all.
Okay. Well, just to explain to the viewers, we're recording this before the week 17 game. So because this is gonna be premiered a little bit later, maybe after the week 17 game. So maybe they will be what they didn't know what happened. Well, because we haven't watched the game, we are not
Yeah.
there yet. Like we don't know what's going to happen on the week 17 game,
Yeah.
and obviously on week 18. But yeah, the Dolphins like something like happened at the end of the year that things are not going their way. But well, you still have two games. We can still hope for the best.
Yeah.
The Dolphins can still be in it, and once you get into the playoffs, who knows? Everything can happen, right?
Yeah, it just sucks, that we're going into this game without Tua. And, I believe that Teddy Bridgewater can get it done. So we're going to find out.
Hopefully it will be on your way. Ilse is a very good friend of this channel, so we always wish the best for the Dolphins because of her, and now because of you, who are actually, I was telling you before the beginning of the recording, you are the first NFL Fan of the Year nominee to be here. We're trying to reach every one of them. Some of them already said yes. You are the first one to actually get it done.
Yay.
So we thank you for that and hopefully it will be good luck for you because some people don't know you are you're nominated, right, for the NFL Fan of the Year.
Yeah. So the weekend of the Super Bowl is when we will find out. And so it'll be announced at the NFL Honors, which is a crazy, it's a very, very important award ceremony, and all of the best people in the NFL will be there. And so it's in a very, very important event. And so as you can tell, I have some anxiety. But
We can imagine.
yeah, like that's a lot of pressure. But so I think the best way you can help me is to vote on NFL.com/fan of the year and help me get to the NFL Fan of the Year.
So, well, we will actually put the link to the voting site on this video description.
Cool.
So people don't have to leave even the YouTube video. They can go straight to the link and vote for you.
Yeah.
And well, actually, can you give them a message like why should they vote for you? Like
it's hard, I consider myself a humble person, so it's hard to brag, but I think that I represent a fan base that's been long suffering. And, I see that my fellow fans have been through a lot since I became a fan. The team has not been good, and yet we're still here. We're still hoping every single season. We're wishing and praying on every single play of the game that our team will someday, be relevant. And so I'm the representative of that. And I feel like I should be NFL Fan of the Year because of the things that I do to keep my community stable and positive, and to make sure Dolphin fans keep being Dolphin fans. And I mean, really, like I'm friends of all different fans from all teams, and I see like all the great things that they're doing, and all of the Fan of the Years are so amazing. Like really, they're all doing such good things in their community. But I hope you consider picking me.
Yeah, we will definitely vote for you. I promise that after we finish recording, I will go and vote for you. To hopefully you will get it. You get the award, like the overall award. Imagine NFL Fan of the Year.
Yeah,
that will be awesome.
It
and
would
as
be
I told
really
you, if that happens, we hope to have you here to talk about that.
Yes,
Okay?
I would love it.
And of course, we hope that to have you here maybe in the future, maybe for another conversation about the Miami Dolphins. Like, what do you see? Maybe after the season ends, like when everything is said and done, and we know what happened with the Miami Dolphins, you can be back on the channel to talk about them, right?
I would love to. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So thank you very much. And well, to all the people who watch here, there are actually a lot of Dolphins fans in Mexico. I don't know if you are aware of that.
Yes, I know. Like, big shout out. Oh my God. So I wish I can show you this on my ceiling. I'm going to take it off. That's my Dolphin Nation Mexico flag right there on the ceiling. And I also rep Germany. I have a whole bunch of flags here because all the nations that are involved in Dolphin Nation. But Mexico definitely has a spot in my heart. They've been so great to me and so supportive, and, especially with the voting process and everything. So I love you guys.
So, well, I'm sure they will love to see this video, this conversation. And again, we thank you a lot for being here, for being the first NFL fan of the year to be here on the channel.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best of luck to you and to the Dolphins.
Thank you so much. We need all the luck and prayers. Like, please, we want to make the playoffs.
Right now, your team and my team, I like Washington. We are exactly in the same spot. Like,
yes,
holding on for the last 2 weeks, like trying to get there. So let's send good vibes to each other.
Yes,
hopefully
absolutely.
Our teams get there.
I
always tell Ilse, maybe one day we will see each other in the Super Bowl.
Can you imagine? That would be so cool.
That would be amazing. And it has already happened a couple of times. So maybe why not the third time?
Yeah, right.
You never know, okay?
You never know.
So, Alison, Dolphreaky, thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank
you. I'm going to say goodbye to the people in Spanish, as I always do, because, it's part of the process.
Yes, of course.
So
I'm sorry I don't speak Spanish.
Don't worry. I got that covered. I'm the Spanish-speaking guy here. Don't worry. Okay? So, bueno, a todos los que vieron este video, muchas gracias por verlo. Ya saben que si quieren dejar algún comentario, va a estar aquí abajo. Vamos a poner las redes de Dolphreaky. I'm going to put your social media here in the description as well, so they can follow you in case they don't do that already. Y ya saben, bueno, si pueden dejar un like y pueden suscribirse a este canal en caso de que aún no lo hayan hecho, eso ayuda muchísimo al algoritmo de YouTube. Y bueno, pues, Alison, thank you very much.
Thank you. Fins up. Let's go.
Thank you. And, well, fins up. Yeah, why not? And see you around on the next video. Thank you very much, guys. Nos vemos.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.